Money is an important part of our daily lives. So financial compatibility with a partner is extremely important. If you're not on the same page with your partner when it comes to finances, your life is going to get very difficult. To make sure that you and your partner are financially compatible, there are some things that you should look for. There are some red flags that you should watch out for, and that is what we're going to discuss today. Hi, if we haven't met before, my name is Jessica. On this channel, we talk all things money. So if that sounds like up your alley, then don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of the upcoming videos. There are 7 financial red flags that you should be aware of. Some of them make you think, they just kind of give you a little bit of a pause, but some are downright deal breakers. The first red flag is lying about money. If someone is lying to you about money, or they have lied to you about money, even if it's about small things, could be about how much money they make, or how much debt they have, or what kind of lifestyle they live. It's not about how big or small the lie is, but if they've lied to you in any way, shape, or form, it's a huge red flag because it's a sign of bigger things to come. When it comes to deception, it's not the size of the deception. It's a huge trust issue. Keep in mind, this person is going to have access to your most personal information. So trust is the name of the game. Red flag number 2 is flashy lifestyle, especially if their income doesn't quite match up with the lifestyle that they're living. Whether it's somebody driving an expensive car, wearing brand name clothes, wearing brand name watches, going on these spectacular vacations, and you're sort of thinking, where does this money come from for this person? So make sure that you follow through with that hunch that you get when you get that little, this doesn't make sense to me. Don't ignore that. If someone's spending that kind of money and you know that they're not making that kind of money, either you're seeing what kind of job they do and you know that that job doesn't pay as much as they're spending, it could really mean one thing. They're just living that flashy lifestyle by spending the money that they don't have. That means they are either already in a lot of debt or they're going to get into debt. It's just a matter of time. And if you end up together, you are going to assume that debt. And not only that, just because you get together, whether you start to live together or you get married, that is going to be on you as well, because that flashy lifestyle is not going to change. If that's who they are and that's what they're doing, they're not going to change their behavior just because they're with you. And sometimes it's even deeper than that. Some people have this inherent need to look rich, which could be deeply rooted into some other issues that's outside of the scope of this video, but just know that that's not something you are going to be able to fix. Number 3 is being secretive. When someone is concealing negative financial information from you, whether it's their debt or some other financial obligations that they might have, if they're keeping this from you, and you can usually feel when someone is being secretive and they're hiding things, most of us can sense that. Sometimes, you might not want to believe it, but that's a really, really important red flag, because if they're concealing information from you now, that's not necessarily going to change over time. Not only that, you might find out when it's too late. Your partner withholding information from you or being secretive is definitely a huge area of concern. Red flag number 4 is when somebody's trying to financially control you, or they are financially controlling you. What does that look like? It's when somebody's making decisions unilaterally about either your family finances or about your finances. They're controlling how you spend money, which is a form of financial abuse, or they're putting you on an allowance and they're trying to tell you what you should and shouldn't do when it comes to your finances. It may also come across as appearing positive on the surface level. So if they are surprising you with a very expensive trip, let's say, but it comes from your account, it comes from your shared account or your shared finances. Now they've gone ahead and spent thousands and thousands of dollars to quote unquote surprise you. They spent this money without your permission, without even consulting with you. It might be presented and packaged to you as being romantic. It's not. It's financial control. Number 5, jealousy. If your partner is jealous that you're making more money, run the other way. That is not something you can change about somebody. Your partner, I mean, think about it. That's one of the closest relationships you are ever going to have in your life. And your partner should be supportive. Not only supportive, they should be celebrating your success. And if they're showing any signs of jealousy, run the other way, because it's only going to get worse. If they're not supporting you, celebrating you, cheering you on for your success, that means they do not have your best interest in mind. Red flag number 6, they have no financial assets, particularly if they've been working for a while. If they've had their career for a few years. I'm not talking about somebody who's just right out of college, but if you know this person's been working for a while and they have no financial assets to name, that means they are not very good with their money. That means they've been spending all of that money, and there's a high chance that they might even be in debt, because otherwise, if you're spending everything that you're earning, that's a massive red flag. It could simply be a sign of financial ignorance. So when you talk about it, if they're willing to talk about it, they're willing to learn, they're willing to gain knowledge, they're willing to change their ways, that's different. But if they're not willing to change their way, then it becomes a serious red flag. Number 7 is refusal to talk about money. So when you bring up the topic of money, if the person is just downright refusing to talk about it, not only that, they might even get upset that you're bringing it up. That's a huge red flag, because communication is a huge predictor of success in a relationship. So if they're not even willing to go there, if they're not even willing to have a conversation and talk about money with you, then the relationship really has no chance in the future. I mean, it could just be a sign of immaturity. I think at best, this is a sign of immaturity, and at worst, it's a sign of them concealing something or simply thinking it's not important. In either case, it's a problem. So those are the 7 red flags. And you might be asking yourself, what if I'm already in a relationship? What if you're already in a relationship and your partner is exhibiting one or more of these signs? Then what should you do? The first place is to start by talking about it. Bring it up and see how that conversation goes. If they're open and they're willing to talk about it, they're willing to change their ways, that's one thing. But I know some of these things can be very, very difficult to change. And they definitely should not be ignored, because money is such a tangible thing. Everything that we've talked about it as being financial red flags, but money is simply a tangible manifestation of how we think. So let's use a jealousy example, right? If somebody is jealous about how much money you make, I mean, that just shows up in your finances, because money is so tangible, it shows up clearly. And that person who might be jealous of your money, the chances are they'll be just jealous of everything. So if you're talking to a guy or talking to a girl, they're probably going to go to that worst case scenario as to what your intention might be. So this shows up, all of these red flags, they don't just show up in money. They show up in a lot of things in life. So that's why it's really important to not ignore these. Remember, knowledge is power. So the more you know, the better off you are. So pay attention. Ignorance is not bliss. I know sometimes when it comes to romantic relationships, we just want to look the other way. Or if we really like somebody, we really don't want to see that thing that we're seeing, and we're pretending that we're not seeing. Maya Angelou said, "People tell you who they are, believe them the first time." That's one of the greatest lessons I've learned in my life, and it will serve you greatly for the rest of your life. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to leave me your comments down below. Hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already done so, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.